Yes, you should upgrade to the Galaxy S20, assuming a few things, and we'll get to those. Welcome to Alphabet City. I'm your guide, Ayaz Akhtar, and you're the most amazing audience in the world. If you've been online, you know that the Galaxy S20 is real and it's spectacular. Now keep in mind, my opinion is based on the claims of Samsung. CNET will have a full review in due time, so check that out too. Alright, when Samsung introduced the S20, Samsung went for it. The S20 is a real step up from the S10. The company claims the cameras got their biggest update since the Galaxy S7. So arguably, you could say the camera tech has been pretty similar for the last 3 generations of S. Samsung says the S20 has the largest image sensor Samsung has ever put on a smartphone. Now, why does that matter? The larger the image sensor, the more information can be captured. The S20 and S20 Plus can zoom in 30 times. The S20 Ultra has that ridiculous 100x space zoom. Now this is something to be examined. Let's talk about the space zoom. The 100x is actually a 10x optic zoom combined with a 10x digital zoom. Samsung says that its AI can make these space zoomed images look great. Now Google has shown something similar with its AI during its Pixel event. The company recommended using the digital zoom because its software would handle the rest. So if you take a regular picture and zoom in after the fact, the cropped version should not look as sharp as the digitally zoomed one. We'll have to see how Samsung's space zoom looks compared to crops, but let's go back for a second. The Ultra has a 10x optic zoom. That's pretty dang impressive. The S20 and Plus come with a respectable 3x zoom. For comparison, the iPhone Pro tops out at 2x zoom in and 2x zoom out. All versions of the S20 can shoot 8K video. I really wasn't expecting that. It seems like a feature that would have been left to the top of the line model. Nope, 8K for all 3. Okay, but why on earth would you need 8K video at this point? Now, Samsung said you could send the video over to your 8K TV. That's not something people really have. So I talked to CNET's David Katzmeyer, our TV expert. I asked him about the benefit of 8K video on the S20. Now, he mentioned that it may be good for capturing things at high quality for the future, since 8K TVs are rare at this point. He's right, 8K displays will be a normal thing in the future. If you shoot your video in HD, it's going to look good, but not as great as 8K. Katz also mentioned the frame rate of the 8K videos. The S20 tops out at 8K at 24 frames per second. That means you're not doing like super slow-mo at that resolution. Okay, so all this time, I've been blathering about the camera abilities. I think it's going to be great. Will other cameras on other phones be better in the future? Probably, but that's always going to happen. Let's talk about using the phone. The S20 line has huge displays. It starts at 6.2 inches. The Ultra is 6.9 inches. Samsung has reworked its phone experience. It's got something called One UI. No, don't roll your eyes yet. One of the bigger ideas of One UI is being able to use the phone without having to constantly use 2 hands. That's really important if you're talking about the Ultra. Now here's an example. Instead of your messages showing up from top to bottom on the screen, Samsung moved the messages to what it calls the interaction area closer to the bottom. That means you should be able to interact with a big Samsung phone with 1 hand. Now I've been using One UI on the S10 Plus and it's actually pretty good and comfortable. And no, I never thought I would be praising Samsung for its skin on top of Android, and here I am doing that. Looking at the S20, I think this device is built to be kept for a number of years. It should easily last 2 to 3 years. It's got 5G on every model, and the wireless carriers are getting their 5G networks online now. The batteries are really, really big. They range from 4,000 milliamp hours to 5,000 on the Ultra. The displays are 120 Hz. This is another feature that will be everywhere in time. Also, let's talk about storage and RAM. The 5G S20 comes with 128 gigs of storage and 12 gigs of RAM. The 5G Plus is available in 3 models, 128 gigs up to half a terabyte. All of them come with 12 gigs of RAM. The Ultra tops out at half a terabyte of internal storage and 16 gigs of RAM, and they all have micro SD card slots that support up to another terabyte. Now, some people have compared the pricing of the S20 to laptops. With those specs, the comparison may be correct. The S20 is a much larger jump than the S9 was to the S10. Mr. Who's the Boss on YouTube talked of the S20 Ultra as almost a super phone. He might be right on that. So should you upgrade? I think so. If you're on anything from 2 years ago, It's a very easy jump. If your phone is a year old, I think the S20 will be a wise investment for several years. That is, assuming everything works like Samsung said. If you want to check out that new Z Flip, watch this. That phone looks really slick. I'm sorry, Moto. If you've enjoyed your stay in Alphabet City, please like and subscribe. If you've got any